Okay, so today I'm going to give you a critique about your assignment 2. So again, I'm just going to, of course, go through this. 2 images with a shallow depth of field, so very little in focus. 2 images with a large or a long depth of field. Subject matter is open to anything you want to photograph, and these different things to think about. Black and white, I hope everybody did that. Make sure you're not using flash. We're just not to that point yet. Take photos during daylight hours, take the photos outdoors, and something in the image must be sharp for these. So I'm going to start with Nikki's images. Okay, so very definitely shallow depth of field. We have this in focus and that falls out of focus. And one of the main reasons why we do this is you can see how much is going on in the background, but because it's out of focus, our eyes go directly right here to this elephant earring that we have on this log. I think it's a nice image, well composed. We learned that rule of thirds. If I was to change anything in this, I think it could be a little bit more contrasty, a little bit more darks and lights. It's a little gray for me, but other than that, I think it's well done. It would work great for a graphic designer or the person who's selling these elephant earrings. You could put their name and contact information here if that was your goal, but very nice that our eyes go right there. Okay, so this one, I think it's interesting because you normally don't see dressers or wardrobes outside, so that's just kind of different or interesting about it. It's a very, very long, large depth of field. This is in focus, trees in focus, and that building in the background is. If it were me, I would maybe like to see it crop down if we come maybe at the top, but just on the right side of this tree. I think some of this is a little too busy. I like this line and the sidewalk, but I think this line is leading me out of the image. I look here and all of a sudden my eye goes whoop, out of the image. But well done for the assignment. Something I'd like to see. I don't know if this, whether it's a yard sale or flea market, would exist weeks from now. One of our assignments is going to be people. I would like to see, since this mirror moves, I think it'd be interesting to see, to concentrate on the reflection of that mirror. So same type of photo, but what's going on here? So place somebody over here, or place an object over here, and get that. And maybe even crop it down just around there, and we're really focused on that mirror. So that might be a pretty cool image. Okay, this one I really like. It's not just of the dessert. Of course, the people in the background are out of focus, so we don't concentrate that much about them, but it would be a completely different image if they weren't there. I like that there are people there, that it's a lively atmosphere. I guess there's someone back there as well. I assume it's at a restaurant, bar, counter, so we know there's activity going on. For some reason, this seems a little gray. So maybe add some contrast to it. This is definitely sharp here, which is nice. Definitely the focus is all to this big cheesecake that's going on, and we just have a little bit of story from these outside characters, which is nice. Maybe try cropping underneath here. I don't know if we need this dead space on the bottom, but that's totally your call. So good job on that one. Okay, I like how you got down on the turtles level for this one. The same with animals and children. Everything looks great being at eye level with them. If I was going to be very, very picky, I wished there was a way to take out this piece of grass, but maybe there wasn't. I think it's great. Again, rule of thirds. Can't really say much other about it. It just depends on how far away you were, the angle you could capture the turtle from. But not a bad image. I just wish this piece of grass kind of wasn't there. Again, he's very, very gray. I don't know if you could do the contrast a little bit more or not. And you'll hear that a lot from me because I'm a fan of very, very a lot of blacks and a lot of whites, but it's just my opinion. So it's your image in the end, so you can do whatever you like with it. Okay. Let's see. We'll go back to our sets. We'll go ahead and look at Patrick's. And I guess we're starting here. Make sure you're writing your assignment number down here, the same as when I'm grading the final assignment. Make sure you write that it's a final one. Okay, well, right off the bat, I can see with a lot of these images that take the photos outdoors because there's so much more light outside than there is inside. So that's why we get a lot of this motion blur or camera shake. Motion blur would be the subject moving. Camera shake would be that the person who's holding the camera is moving. I mean, obviously from this one, nothing is in focus. And we can look at the show more info. Yeah, 1/7 of a second. It's very, very slow. A 60th of a second, 1-60, would be the slowest you would want to go without a tripod or something holding the camera. And for this next one, same kind of thing. Nothing's really sharp at all. We'll see what this one says. Yeah, same thing, 1/9 of a second. It's just the shutter speed is way too slow, and that's what happens when you're indoors. For this image, I would possibly crop in a little bit. I don't think we need the objects that are up here, but then the subject is looking out of the image, so all I want to know is what he's looking at. I think the image would really be kind of this way. Cut off right behind him and have him looking into the shot. This, there's just a lot going on. I don't really know where I'm looking or what the subject is. I mean, there's a dog here, but only because I know there's a dog, because this assignment and the last assignment were all about dogs. I don't know really what to say about this one. We could crop down more. I wish we didn't have your knee in the image. I don't think we need that. The whole point of having you photograph images outside is so you can explore and see new things and photograph something that you haven't photographed before. I don't know if you've had already 100 photographs of your dogs or not, but we need to move past that subject matter. This one, same thing, everything's out of focus. Use the crop tool. We can crop down a lot. We don't care about this chair, the outlet, or the bottom of the steps. You could crop in on your dogs. This one, it's an out of focus image of the light that's in your dining room. It could be a lot more contrasty. I don't know what this is doing for it here. You can crop in a little bit, but again, 1/21 of a second. That's a third the speed of the slowest speed you should go with your camera. 1/60th is the slowest your camera should go without a tripod. Okay, this one now, completely different perspective. From your first assignment when you were shooting your dogs from above, this one you got down on their level, and it works so much, much better this way, being at their level. You lay it on the ground, or set your camera down on the ground. Not a bad image at all. I think you could even work from a longer rectangle, like a movie screen kind of ratio. But also, if you see in here, there's all this grain because your ISO is very high, 600 ISO. If you're taking photos outside on a sunny day or overcast day, they'll probably be around 100 or 200. But this one, you get all that grain in there, and it kind of takes away from the image for me. Sometimes if it's a grittier image, it would work. Here, the grain's even worse because your ISO is higher. So the grain gets, I mean, there's a lot more grain in there. I think the horizontal worked a lot better than this vertical image. Okay, this one, there's obviously some very, very nice blank white walls here. I think you could have moved your subject around, and so you can photograph them on a white wall. Again, your shutter speed is very, very slow, so all the dogs are out of focus. Again, we get some movement from that, but I don't know, that's your judgment if you want the movement in there or not, but I think we're getting the movement because we're shooting indoors and the shutter speed is slow, versus you controlling the shutter speed to show us movement. All this stuff back here, it takes us out of it. I guess we get that long depth of field from this.